I call the meeting of the Roselle Park Board of Education, December 6, 2022 to order. This meeting is held in the Roselle Park High School Auditorium. It is an open session of the Roselle Park Board of Education held under the Open Public Meetings Act of the state of New Jersey. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, local sources, the Home News Tribune, the Borough Clerk, school offices, and the district website. Roll call, please.
President Helms,
Here.
Vice President Carstone, Paul Vimante, Mark Fernandez.
Here.
Z Infante.
Here.
Dr. Kirtland.
Here.
Jennifer McCarr, Constance Quintela, Michael Ann Reagan.
Here.
We have a quorum. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Messed that one up. Wow. Let it be resolved that the Roselle Park Board of Education meeting hereby convenes to executive session for discussion of the following subjects: personnel matters, student matters. It is anticipated that the executive session shall take approximately 60 minutes. The board may take action during public session. The board shall return to public session following the executive session at approximately 7 p.m. The minutes of the executive session shall be released to the public when the reason for the executive session no longer exists. Do I have a motion to go into executive?
Jen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We are in executive session. You have a motion to go back and open?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're back in open. Sorry, it took just a little bit longer than what we thought. At this time, I will open up the public portion to agenda items only. Please come forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Katie McDermott, 730. Oh, yeah. Katie McDermott, 730 Galloping Hill Road. I'm commenting tonight on agenda item 2A, Mrs. Cluffy's resignation. While she's only been here a short time, she has had a positive impact not only on the children with disabilities in the district, but the community as a whole. A few of her achievements include, but are not limited to, she hired one of the best BCBAs I have ever worked with, and I have worked with a ton. She increased inclusion in the district. She fostered a good working relationship with the district CPAG, and did her best to resolve issues that were brought to her attention. Along with the CPAG, Mrs. Cluffy collaborated with the Anthony Signorello Youth Center to develop programs to serve disabled children and their families in the Roselle Park community. There have been a number of events at the youth center that were well attended and fun for everyone. Mrs. Cluffy has also been instrumental in developing a respite night program, the first of which is scheduled for next month. If you're unfamiliar with respite care, please look it up so you can know how meaningful this is for families of children with disabilities. As you begin the process of hiring her replacement, I hope that you look for someone with many of the same qualities Mrs. Cluffy exhibited during her short time here. One of the things I appreciate about her most is that she never takes any issue we bring to her attention personally, a quality I think every administrator should have. She knows that we only want the supports and programs our children need to succeed, just like their non-disabled peers. Without diminishing Mrs. Cluffy's accomplishments, the district still has a long way to go to improve the educational experience of children with disabilities. With that said, the parents of children receiving services in the district should be included in the vetting process for a new director of special services in a more robust manner than we were last time. We're on the front lines. We know better than anyone what our children need to succeed. We, the parents, want nothing more than to see this district be a model for other small districts. Underutilizing our collective wealth of knowledge would be a waste of a valuable and free resource. To close, I wish Mrs. Cluffy well and thank her for her dedication to the children and families of the community. She will be missed.
Thank you. Seeing no one else. Seeing no one else, I will close the public portion. At this time, we'll have the principal's report. Ms. Costa?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Board of Education. Good evening, parents and families and students here tonight. Roselle Park High School has had a wonderful start to our school year. I'd like to start by thanking the board for the addition of our officer, our SRO officer. It has made a huge difference to the climate of the building and to the safety of our students and staff, and we so appreciate that. So thank you. I'll just highlight a few things that happened in November. November was a busy month here at the high school, not to mention the homecoming and the football games. We also opened our high school up the first week of November, November 3rd. We invited the community and all middle school parents to attend an open house. It was well attended. Our staff was here that evening and they presented how they instruct in our different clubs and activities. Then the following week, we worked with Ms. Goyce and the middle school staff, and we were able to, over the course of 2 days, bring the 8th graders over to the high school the last 2 periods of 2 different days. It was a wonderful experience to see the 8th graders coming over and learning about our programs, and it seemed to generate a lot of excitement. One of the programs that we highlighted at that open house was our Crisis Center program. And this evening I have a wonderful group of students, and Mrs. Kazadoy, Mrs. Bain would be here as well, but she's out sick tonight. But I have a wonderful group of students here with us this evening, and this group of students has done so much every year to raise the culture and the climate of our building. They are, I'm going to let them talk for themselves, but they are our crisis center counselors, and they are leaders in our building in so many different ways. And I would like to introduce our seniors to talk a little bit about what they do with the program. But so many of these students also have jobs. They participate in the play. The play is having the tryouts right now in the library. They're involved in sports. And on top of that, they're peer counselors here in our building. So it is my pleasure to honor our Crisis Center students this evening and focus on our seniors, who are going to give a little bit of an introduction to what we do here and what they do here with the Crisis Center.
The Crisis Center was developed as an action plan by students in 1988 who pointed out that their peers needed an alternative safe space to address personal issues, which remains relevant even today. The purpose of the Crisis Center is to create a bridge between teens and helping professionals on campus. Last year, approximately 70 students used the Crisis Center, which enabled them to help deal with many issues, especially the aftermath of the COVID pandemic and the impact of having to quarantine.
Crisis Center students or juniors and seniors that apply are interviewed and chosen with input from our teachers. This year, we have 16 members of 43 students that applied. To be a Crisis Center member, we attend a week of training after the school year ends and a 3-day, 2-night retreat at the end of November to continue to learn and practice the many skills that we trained in. We are a diverse group of students and have the ability to assist students in 3 languages. We are trained to actively listen, problem solve various situations, mediate conflicts, and recognize high-risk situations.
Almost every year, Crisis Center members handle high-risk situations for which we are trained to have a counselor join in the conversation. This year, we have potentially saved 1 life. As of the end of our first marking period, Crisis Center handled 23 crisis situations, 2 high-risk situations, 3 mediations which prevented physical altercations, and 1 was handled in another language. There are many other additional scenarios, such as students experiencing anxiety, academic stress, and family conflicts.
Crisis Center members provide many additional services and assist in other ways. Every student receives a handwritten birthday card from us to remind them that they matter. We deliver each card with a smile. We have our community tree, which you can see outside of auditorium by the summer camp office. We assist Ms. Backard in having every student write their name on a leaf to remind each student here that they are a member of our community. We also assist Mrs. K in running initiatives for state initiatives such as suicide prevention, anti-bullying, and school violence awareness. Being a Crisis Center member can bridge students to areas of study after graduation. Crisis Center members have become teachers, mental health professionals, and members of the medical field. We are graduating seniors, and this is what we plan to study. My name is Ekaterina Tamura, and after high school, I plan to study business. I have applied to 6 colleges yet, and I'm waiting for a response.
I'm Anthony Ponzio. I applied to 10 schools to study nursing and trying to hear back from most of them, but already into 2. And yeah.
My name is Remy Newhart, and I plan to study psychology. I've also applied to 10 schools, but haven't heard back yet.
My name is Dina Dokic. I plan to study chemistry, and my top school right now is Pace University in New York.
Thank you, seniors. Thank you, Crisis Center members. Special thanks to Mrs. Cazadoy and to Mrs. Bain for all that you do. They take time out of their summer to train. They take a weekend to go to a retreat. And then they oftentimes come in early and stay late to resolve the different crises that come up and to finish the paperwork. And they're always there for me when I bring a situation into the office for them, and they handle it in such a professional and such a confidential manner. And I would also like to focus on Michael Ferguson. He's sitting up here in the front row. He doesn't get a lot of accolades, but he's always in the background. Michael has been taking photos for us. He found his niche, taking photos of different events. He comes to everything, and he really does a great job keeping my Instagram going and keeping the yearbook supplied with photos. So Michael is here out of his time to take photos for my Instagram of the presentation, and I'll take some as well. So with that, Mr. President Harms, thank you so much for letting us honor our Crisis Center. I can read them from up there. Here or there at basketball practice, but I'll read all the names. So starting with the group that presented this evening, our seniors, the ones that presented, you guys have done it for 2 years, correct? So Dina Dokic. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go in order. Sorry, Dina. All right. So sit back down, Dina. All right. So not present, I think he's at basketball, is Bryce McDonald, Angelina Ochoa. She's not here. Adora Chief. Yeah, the first 2 weren't here. They're at different practices. Ekaterina or Katie Tamura. Remington Newhart. Remy also works at my children's school. Dina Dokic. Jamie Stefanski. Diasha Gilliard. It's not here. I'll slow down for you. That Dina Dokic, and this is Jamie Stefanski. Diasha's not here. Anthony Ponzio. Ashley Morera. And our last senior, Natalie Ringfingo. I said that wrong. Ringifo. And our juniors, who are in their first year, many of Crisis Center, and we hope they'll come back for 2 years. Giselle Padron, Sabrina De Silva, Belen Munoz, Lucas Belsky, and Julia Perez. And I know she doesn't have a certificate, but I'd also like to bring up Mrs. Kazadoy. And we won't forget Mrs. Bain, but she was unable to be here with us this evening. We have a board member that was also a crisis center worker. Let me introduce Z Infante. You want to take a picture with us after we're done?
President Harms, can I say something really quickly as they leave? Can I say something really quickly as they leave? Before you all leave, I just want to say the Crisis Center saved my life, changed my life, and has impacted me years later. So I'm so grateful for everything that you're doing. And I look forward to seeing how it informs the rest of your lives and your college experiences and the rest of your time here at Rosenberg High School. So thank you.
We'll just give them a few minutes. Okay, as we move on, I will move into committee reports.
I have a report.
Thank you.
I attended the Union County School Boards Association meeting on November 16th at Kean University. The topic for the evening was communication tips for school districts presented by Darenia Villalona and Gisette Duran of the New Brunswick School District. They discussed different communication strategies that boards can use to inform and engage the community. The presentation focused on connecting the internal and external communities to keep everybody informed. The next Union County School Boards Association meeting will be held virtually on Wednesday, January 18th, 2023.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll move on to superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Harms. Good evening, everyone. As it is required by the Department of Education, we are to report on 2 tests this evening. One is the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment that was given in spring of 2022, and also the New Jersey Start Strong, which is the fall 2022. It was done this past fall. And for that, we have a director of guidance and testing, Ms. Colleen Bodek, to do the presentation. And this is so if we can go, yep, it's up here.
Good evening. As Mr. Garrido said, I'm going to go over the NJGPA results and the Start Strong assessment results this evening. We'll start with the NJGPA, and that stands for the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment. And that was administered in March to 11th grade students. At the time, it was advertised as a graduation requirement for all 11th graders. Since that time in August, the governor signed legislation saying that it is actually a field test, and the assessment requirements for the class of 2023 have been waived. That assessment was given in math and English language arts. Again, it serves as a field test. So here are the overall results for our students at the top and the state students at the bottom. You can see the green is passing and the red is not passing. Again, this was a field test. This was the first year it was offered. So I believe there are some kinks that need to be worked out. But you can see our results at the top again versus the state results at the bottom, which are pretty similar. And the state also requires that we report on subgroup data. So this slide is data regarding race. And this is program. So we can see free and reduced lunch all the way to the left, 504 students, special education students, general education students, and all results all the way at the right. Some intervention/preparation strategies for the class of 2024. That's our current juniors who will be required to test in March. And that will count as a graduation requirement. Some things that we have in place now to prepare those students are math problem solving classes and language arts literacy courses. We have those available to 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students. And some of the standards that are focused on in those classes are identified through the Linkit Form A results that was given at the beginning of the school year. Teachers of all subjects, including English language arts, math, and science, build their SGOs around those Linkit scores and target specific areas of weakness for our students. We also have the ELA and math coaches who help us analyze data and support best practice instructional strategies. And again, back to Linkit, those assessments are given 3 times a year, and that provides data and insight for our teachers as to what skills need to be focused on in the classroom. We're moving over now to Start Strong, which was given across all schools. Students were assessed on the academic standards from last school year. These results provide an early indication of the level of support students need in ELA, math, or science. So when you see the results, don't think of it like this is an assessment of what the students learned this year. This is a beginning of the year assessment to kind of gauge what kind of support students need throughout the year. And these assessments were given in ELA, math, and science, 1 unit per subject, up to 60 minutes per unit. Students with an IEP that have DLM, dynamic learning maps, stipulated in their IEP will take or have already taken an alternative assessment to the Start Strong. So the first slide here shows our ELA results, and this is district-wide. Grade 4 is all the way at the left, and grade 10 is the second to last on the right. So you can see for ELA, green is less support needed, orange is some support, and red is strong support needed. So overall, it looks like we're a little, we're pretty much balanced between our less support and strong support needed, which kind of makes sense. In the beginning of the year, you have a wide range of students needing more support, a little support, and less support. And that's ELA. Now, math across grades, it appears that strong support is needed. Less so in maybe geometry and algebra 2. And science, students were assessed in grades 6, 9, and 12. And also it looks like strong support is needed there as well. This is our subgroup data by race. We could see overall less support is needed. However, for Hispanic students, it appears that more support is needed. And math, strong support is needed across the board. Science as well. This is subgroup data by program, and we could see that strong support is needed, or the most support is needed for our ELL population, followed by special education students and free and reduced lunch students. And for math, regardless of program, strong support is needed. And for science as well. So what are the implications of this data? It provides us with an early idea of what level of support is needed and where we need to pool our resources. It provides the data with supplemental data to further identify our student needs. And individually, it's another data point that our INRS teams can use to assess our students and to provide interventions. It also provides teachers with additional information regarding the standards that need the most attention in their classes. And overall, the Start Strong results were consistent with the Linkit Form A data, and I confirmed that with our coaches. Some intervention strategies that are in place across the district, which is really helpful in terms of our looking at those math scores. We have a dedicated elementary school interventionist in math. We're in our second year of having a math interventionist at the middle school. There's before and after school supplemental opportunities. There are summer programs for support in ELA and math. Our math and ELA coaches are utilizing the Linkit assessments to mimic state testing, so that our students become more familiar with the state issued assessments. The creation of Linkit standard grade level assessments have been providing more consistency across district. There's a program we're utilizing for our algebra students called ALEX, and that provides students with individualized learning that supports their skill development. And in science, we have our educators have been provided with updated resources that are aligned to the new standards and new expectations. Any questions about the administration of these assessments can be directed to me, the Director of Guidance and Testing. And in terms of interventions, Mr. Salvo in the Curriculum and Instruction Office can address those questions. Are there any questions at this time?
Yes, I do have a question. For the strong start data, is there any way to get that divided out by school, especially at like the elementary level? Because I'm just thinking like it might be best to share like best practices across schools if one school has a particular grade that did better than another, just so that we can kind of even the playing field.
Yeah, not Miss Bodek, Dr. Kirkland. You know, one of the reasons is sometimes when you do divide or you identify the school, there may be a problem with people having some kind of you know, it does affect the way people will look at each individual school. So we try to do it because we have the same programs, same curriculum, obviously, same interventionists, and all the programs are the same. So we want to try to get away from that type of competing, you know, level. But we'll discuss it as well.
Yeah, we do have that data.
Yeah, we do.
We're talking about it internally. Unfortunately, to share all the data that we have would probably take all evening. Because I think each presentation that I had for each of these assessments was about about 50 slides long.
But we have found out, though, in the past couple of years, obviously post-pandemic is different than what it was in the past, that we pretty much across the board, you know, pretty similar, maybe a little higher in one of the areas, maybe a little lower in another area. And of course, a lot of it also depends on the subgroups that are in that building as well, schools, you know, with scores. So, you know, we'll look at it. We'll possibly share it with you, Ms. Bodek. We'll discuss it a little bit more tomorrow. But it's something that we have been trying to stay away. And you know, one thing that I did want to include also, you know, these things start strong is here because of the pandemic. You know, we want to make sure that we have enough data to support our students throughout the year, and learning loss is definitely something that we want to address. The New Jersey graduation proficiency assessment is a field test. Don't forget, they usually set their bench level based on field tests, and things will be changing over the next year or so. But Ms. Bodek, I don't know if there's anything else.
To piggyback off of what Mr. Garrido said, and I tried to stress it in the presentation, but I'm not sure if it was conveyed. This is basically a benchmark. So at the end or at the beginning of next year, when I report on the NJSLA scores, that's when we can see whether or not the strong support was provided this year. And hopefully we will see that.
And as you can see from the interventions as well, I mean, we have put in a lot of effort into our support and interventions, whether it's after school programs, in-class support, our coaches, our interventionists are in the classrooms and so forth. There's a lot of support in place at this point, which again, we'll probably won't see a huge gain in another couple of years. So because we had 2 or 3 years of learning loss due to everything that went on, but we will certainly work on that different school scores as you mentioned. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. I
You-
just
you-
wanted to make sure, like, as I understand
Yeah.
the whole competition
right,
of it
right.
all. I just wanted to make sure, like, we're having that conversation
Yes,
internally, because there
absolutely.
could be ways we can learn from each other.
Yes,
So I wanted to
absolutely.
make sure
And-
that's
Yeah,
happening.
and one thing that the 3 elementary principals do is they do work together to make sure that whatever is presented to a staff in terms of instruction presented across the district. All right.
I also have a question. You mentioned the DLM assessment. So for the fall DLM assessment, I noticed that there is no data up there. And I was wondering if we do have some data on that and how we're going to support our self-contained special needs students with IEPs that did take the DLM.
Yes, so we have until, I believe it's December 20th to finish that assessment. So that'll be reported at a later time, as well as the interventions. Okay, thank you.
Hold on. Can I just piggyback on something
Sure.
Dr. Kirtland said? And I agree with her and your assessment of it not being a competition. But I think that that data will give everyone, at least the school district, enough information to see which schools need more help. Because if some of the schools are excelling and some are not, and we're distributing our resources evenly throughout, I think it's unfair to the schools that need more help. That's just
No, and I think that's definitely a valid point. However, don't forget that each school has different subgroups. They're elementary schools, because we're only comparing elementary, middle, high school, that have more ELL students. So obviously your scores are going to be lower there, and based on what we saw, because those students need a lot more support. There may be one building that has the majority of our special education groups as well. So we have to make sure that we're very careful with that, schools are not judged based on scores only, because there's a lot of other things, other factors that come into play.
Yeah, and I know that the slides aren't in here, but there are no outliers.
Right. Mhm.
Could you send the break for the schools, I guess the test scores for each schools, at least to the 9 board members, so they would be able to see them?
You're looking at me.
If it's okay, sure.
I'll discuss it with my team and we'll definitely put something together. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Just thing for our public who's here and our board members, please support our winter concerts. They're coming up. Please look at the calendar. They always put on a great performance, regardless of the school that they're in. They're always really top notch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrido. I do agree. Each school puts on a perfect show. At this time, we'll move into the agenda under personnel. On your agenda that you might picked up, I'm switching number 1 and 2, just putting staff resignation first, and then 2 is the staff appointment. It just goes in order. Okay, so we'll move on to the agenda. Item 1, staff resignation. 2, staff appointment. 3, staff retirement. 4, rescinding resignation. 5, rescinding staff appointments. 6, medical leave. 7, maternity leave of absence revision. 8, home instruction instructors. What? Okay. 9, professional additional hours. 10, elementary proctors, 2022, 2023. 11, professional development. 12, extra duty periods, 2022, 2023. 13, 2023 summer camp staff salaries. 14, additional high school extracurricular advisor for the 2022, 2023 school year. 15, additional Title I AP pre-test tutoring. 16, additional Title I social emotional learning enrichment staff. 17, additional staff, standard-based instructional support staff. 18, high school additional teachers in classes 2022, 2023. 19, revision of instructional support stipends. Agenda items under personnel. 1, additional lunch proctor personnel. 2, additional high school and middle school fall winter coaches 2022, 2023. And number 3, lunch aid additional hours. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any item? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstorm.
Yes.
Paul Bimonte,
Yes.
Mark Fernandez,
Yes.
Z Infante,
Yes.
Dr. Kirtland,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr,
Yes.
Constance Quintella,
Yes, with an abstention for one staff appointment, now two, staff appointment B.
Michael and Regan,
Yes.
President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. Under education, agenda items 20 through 25. 20, field trip request. 21, tuition termination. 22, harassment, intimidation, bullying incidents. 23, bedside instruction. 24, tuition agreement. 25, conference attendance requests. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any item? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstone,
Yes.
Paul Bimonte,
Yes.
Mark Fernandez,
Yes.
Z Infante,
Yes.
Dr. Kirtland,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr,
Yes.
Constance Quintella,
Yes.
Michael and Regan,
Yes.
President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. Under business, agenda items 26 through 34 and addenda items 4 through 5. 26, monthly certification. 27, approval of bills. 28, approval of minutes. 29, secretary treasurer's report. 30, bus drills. 31, use of buildings and grounds. 32, student transportation contract. 33, approval of 2022-2023 health and safety evaluation of schools, buildings checklist and SOA. 34, Roselle Park Administrators Association contract resolution. Under the addenda, business. 4, federal grant budget revision, and 5, use of buildings and grounds. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion?
Will I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any item? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Carlstone,
Yes.
Paul Bimonte, Mark Fernandez,
Yes.
Z Infante,
Yes.
Dr. Kirtland,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr, Constance Quintella,
Yes, with abstention on 31G.
Michael and Regan, President Harms.
Yes. Motion carries. As we continue, we will go into continuing business. Do we have any?
President Harms, I just want to say a few thank yous. Being my last board meeting, I just want to thank to all the board members I've served with, school administrators, parents, and the residents of Roselle Park for electing me 3 years ago and trusting me with this position. I'd like to thank Mr. Garrido for his leadership and strength during a rough period in our district. And a special thank you to you, Lauren, for your integrity and leadership, not just for this board, but for Roselle Park and all of its residents. Lauren has shown me to be a fighter for this town, and with his dedication to service for all, I thank him and want to honor his years of continued service to Roselle Park. My plan is to continue to work with parents within the district to continue to hold accountable this board for the benefit of all children. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other continuing business?
Mr. Harm, just now that I see Mrs. Becker in the audience here, I just want to thank her for the outstanding job that she's done as the anti-bullying coordinator. Thank you, Mrs. Becker. You really have done a great job. Thank you.
I was waiting for him to notice you to say something. I don't know.
All right. go ahead.
Okay. Any other continuing business? Any new business? Hearing none, I will move into the public portion. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and address, and we can speak on any item or topic, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, Lucy Figueredo, 330 Sheridan Avenue. So, Mr. Garrido, I know you want to say that. I know that the testing is going because of the pandemic, and I agree with you. We have lost a lot of years, but the reality is the kids, and I know you want to go, you don't want to blame schools or teachers. The reality is we have lost about 2 years. And I know that for a fact because my child was tested and she has lost 2 years of going back. And I'm actually embarrassed to even say that. My daughter is 2 years behind. And it's not only my daughter, it's the school district. Thank you.
Mrs. Figueredo, I just wanted to respond. Thank you, and we appreciate that. I can tell you that most school districts around the state, if not all, are having the same discussion as we're having, because all of our children have lost 2 years, not only Roselle Park.
No, I get it.
Okay.
No, I do understand, but a lot of Roselle Park, majority of Roselle Park. Thank you.
And just to add to that, being reelected to the board, I will make the statement, I will ensure within my power, whatever that might be, next year to try to turn some of this loss that we've had. Cannot guarantee we're going to come back with 2 years within a short period of time, but with the board's help next year, I think we can go forward and move a little bit forward. So that's my commitment to our children. Anyone else wishing?
Hello. Okay. Hi, Sophia Pinto Figueroa, 619 Elm Street. So as a follow-up to the information that was presented tonight, it was very concerning to see specifically the math and science results presented. As we know, math education really starts at the young age, so you can't expect high school rates if the elementary schools aren't doing well, right? And I recognize that we're in a time where our children are recovering from severe learning loss and that our teachers are working hard to teach them. I do want to emphasize the importance of using the summer months to further the development of our children. Knowing that these tests are given at the start of the school year, I'm curious how much the summer being out for 2 months plays into the low test results, since the children are out of school for 2 months and then they're being tested at the start of the school year. Last summer, the elementary schools received a reading packet and a set of books, and there was a coordinated library program. I'm wondering if there's any consideration of investing resources for this upcoming summer, specifically around STEM.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close the public portion. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I would like to first wish all the board members, the Roselle Park School District, the community, all a very, very happy or Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and most importantly, a healthy and blessed New Year. At this point, I would like to have a motion to adjourn.
Shen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.